Hey, I'd like to share with you something I got recently from AliExpress. I don't know what it's called, but I can tell you exactly what it reminds me of. A few years ago, Power Rangers had a series that had knights on it. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but there was this one knight that turned into a sword, and he had a crown around his head, and basically the robot turned into a sword, and it was pretty cool. Now this reminds me of him because he also turns into a sword, and he has a little bitty sword of himself, which is very strange. Now I wanted to share with you the pros and cons of this figure because it's a gorgeous figure. It really is, but it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. The sword, for instance, is hard to get into his hand. His hand's got extra joints and everything, but it's a round sword going into a rectangular fist. It's kind of weird. It's just strange. I mean, it fits, it holds, it does everything it should. It just looks like he's holding on to it strangely and then trying to get it in and out. It takes an act of God or Congress or whatever you want to say. There. So let's take a look at his sword, which is a small representation of him. I have not transformed him into a sword, and I really don't honestly want to. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything that I'd care about. I'm sure if you bought this for a kid, they'd probably destroy it while they're, transforming it to a sword and play with the sword that's been destroyed. All right, let me move the Hot Wheels track out of the way. Let's take a look at his face a little closely. Now, it is on a ball joint. It's roundabout. You got lots and lots of screw holes in his back. So it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But unlike with Transformers, you don't have a lot of hollow spaces. Like these gray spaces would probably be hollow on a Transformer. I also like the translucent red that's all over him. Like everything red on him is translucent. They didn't cheat anywhere. He's also got the little, how these would be hollow on Transformers sometimes. He's got the parts where you fold the fist back and tuck them inside of this. All right, so he came like this with his arms like this, of course. But I like him to be able to bend. And he does bend about close to 90. Here it is straight, here it is bent. So it's about probably 80 degrees. He's got a shoulder joint right here, swivel. Got a ratcheting joint that is both a hinge and a swivel. It's got the hinge for the arm right here. Everything's a nice tight ratchet. The only thing that's not tight I will get to eventually as I work from the top to the bottom. He's got a ball joint for the waist. And he kind of looks like a Gundam mixed with not a Pokemon, a Digimon mixed with that Power Ranger I told you about. These things don't really stay down very well too. I don't know if I'm not pushing them to lock into place, but when you're moving his arm, it's more likely that that'll stay put instead of going along with his forearm. So just remember that, unless you found a way that I'm not aware of. So just letting you know about that little feature. Makes me wonder if this little hand right here, that tab, but then that would be awkwardly weird. Anyway, so his thigh has a swivel that's really ratchety, and he ratchets out about, he's got skirts on his side, so his ratcheting is probably hindered by the skirts. I'm thinking if there were no skirts, it may go higher. The front flap and the back flaps do go up so that he can kick up all the way. Pretty much he can sit down. And can he kick back all the way? Yeah, so he can do a full split. So he can join the cheerleading squad. Go Camelot. All right, for his knees, let's see, they got that. They got joints in both here and here, so he's double jointed knees. But they don't really go too far back because his armor is in place, but they go more than 90. Here's where I'm telling you that the only place is everything's tight except for his ball joints right here. They're so floppy loose. I think there's a way to fix it. Somebody was telling me about some kind of museum wax. I think that's for a different thing, but it may be for this. Also floor polish stuff. I need to invest in some. I'm sure they have it at Dollar Tree. His feet have a little, poke up. It looks like a medieval knights on some of them. And otherwise there's a joint there. So I have never transformed it into a sword, but I want to give you the full effect in case you're on the fence about buying this. I think I got it for about $20 from AliExpress, and it's just a beautiful robot. I mean, I don't care if it ever does transform. I didn't buy it for the transforming feature, but I suspect he transforms just like Well, the other one, these, I wonder what was supposed to go here. Like, is he a combiner with other robots? Like if you watch this show in China, does he combine with other robots? Because that definitely looks like some kind of combiner ports right there. I mean, these are obviously going to go in here. Oh, yeah, you got to close this fist up. He has joints in his fist I probably didn't mention. I barely mentioned at the beginning, like when I talked about his sword. But that's something that should be noted. All right, so you can tuck them in there. I'm a little bit afraid if I tuck it in there, it's going to get stuck. But basically, he got his legs together. I'm sure you do some other whambo jambo with his neck. He's got a giraffe neck. And then, I don't know exactly what to do with these. I didn't read the instructions because I don't really care if I ever make it into a little dagger. But judging from this, I'd imagine that, let's see. I'm guessing these swivel out. These somehow swivel out and become something to the side of the sword, basically, like a side hilt. So he does become a, I think it looks funny, he's like a giraffe neck. But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. It's like elongated man looking. But again, I just wanted to share this with you in case you like see these robots and you're like, I don't know if I want to get these. I know that I finally found somebody on the internet that mostly does Korean giant, really cool robots. At least he talks about, I think his name said about Korean in it. He speaks full, perfect English. He's probably from America. But he also gets robots online. I'm like, oh, finally I found somebody I can like, you know, find out, are these crappy robots or are they good robots? Because there's a lot of robots I've been sitting on the fence about. Now they're gone and I really wish I would have bought them. Something just went pop. I hope it wasn't anything bad. All right, I will see you guys later. And if you have any more questions about this robot, let me know because I'm not an expert. I'm just telling you. I didn't even try to do this before. It just cracks me up. But it is, again, I think it's worth the $20 for something this beautiful. It's about the size of, well, I got Metroplex here. It's a bootleg Metroplex, but to me, it's exactly the same size. I haven't seen anything different. Here's him to the side of Metroplex. So for size comparison, I'd say he's about a Voyager, maybe larger than a Voyager, maybe leader class. And it is high quality. I mean, it's like, except for those ankles, I think this is higher quality than most Transformers. I mean, he's got, in all the screw holes is another detractor, but other than that, he looks fantastic. And the articulation is enough. I mean, even with the bad ball joints in his feet, he stands up. Now, would I trust him to stand on a shelf if you live in California? No, I would probably brace him with a doll stand or something behind him right here. I don't see anything on him except for that, you know, screw hole right there that you could maybe use one of those Gundam flight stands. Oh, I just noticed this comes out for some reason. So I'm thinking if I bought something else from this series, he would combine with it because there's a lot of combiner ports that I don't see any purpose for this in the sword mode. But I could be wrong. There's like that right there. The only thing I could think is you had to plug more like things into him for a bigger robot. But I mean, look at the back. I even like the back of him right here. This looks good. This looks good. Even his back looks good. And you can't say that for many robots. He just looks fantastic all the way around. Definitely one of my favorite robots that I bought this year. Or since I've gotten on AliExpress. Gorgeous robot. I'm just going to keep babbling about him being gorgeous. So I'm just going to cut it off. Again, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to try to figure out a way to put him on my shelf. He's too big for the DVD shelf, but he can go in the other room. I just don't want him to fall off easy because I have a feeling like if he gets there too long, he's going to get drunk and fall for it. He's like I said, he stands fine putting him down, like even with these little untrustworthy feet. But he's, yeah, see what I'm saying? That right there, that leg kept on swiveling over every time I tried to pop him back up. And I'm sure some kind of floor wax would work. I have yet to ever try that. I've always heard people talking about it. So if I go to Dollar Tree today, I have to remember to grab some. All right, y'all have a fantastic day.